Alright, what is up guys? Loser Manic here, and welcome to a different video that I did not plan on making today. There's gonna be different stuff, but to be honest, I it wasn't working out well, so because I was all over the place with that one, Um my ADHD got in the way and it was just all over the place. So yeah, I decided to take a different approach, and I want to give my thoughts on the new Cyberpunk bug updates for 1.2, because 1.21 is just pretty small as like minor things. This is like the major one. Like, like this would be groundbreaking if the game was released on time, or if it was released properly. Like this is like a major, like, check this out. If you guys don't know the patch notes for this thing, just look at this. Hold on, let me scroll to the top. Yeah, look at the amount of patch notes there are. There are a lot of it. It may not seem like a lot because I'm scrolling pretty fast, but believe me when I say there is a lot to this. So yeah, I'm not going to be going over all of it just because some of these involve like almost said quests. These involve like gigs and jobs I don't do a whole lot. But I will go through and I will talk about some of the major ones as I'm going through here. And yeah, so the second one below, because it says NCPD spawn radius for when the player commits a crime has been increased. I don't really commit a lot of crimes. I try not to. I've been pretty clean my last few playthroughs I've been playing. So yeah, but the next one says, new steering sensitivity slider added to console settings allows reducing steering speed for all vehicles on all input devices, particularly useful for keyboard players or keyboard users. Let me tell you, I didn't really notice a difference until I bumped the thing down to 1, and holy shit. It's good. If you're one of those people that prefers 1, God bless you. So so yeah, I do like the fact that it did change up the uh the turning of, or the sensitivity of steering. Some of the vehicles, like I think the Gecko is still pretty bad at steering like crazy. You go all over the place. I think the Coyote is also guilty of that one also. Um Yeah, so a lot of these I don't really do because I usually stick to, a lot of these are just um based off like certain quests I don't do, or certain, so far I'm seeing like different cyberwares or whatever. I don't really use a whole lot of cyberwares. I usually stick to the ones that positively, or not positively, that benefits my character in some way. Usually it's with like pistols and whatnot. Some of the so the next thing on here is that clothing vendors now sell items more suitable for the location. Let me tell you, this one works out perfectly because I have a nomad character. Sorry if I'm looking over whenever I talk about Cyberpunk. I set up out here for tonight in the living room, so I have Cyberpunk up right now. But in my male nomad character, that's not important to what gender it is, but just whatever. Um, for my nomad character, well, I say male because I'm playing a female nomad character right now. But for my male nomad character, I had already beaten the game siding with Pan Am. Obviously, I feel like that should be like a more suit. I feel like that should be like a go-to ending if you do play a nomad character, just because your character's an ex-nomad wanting a family. And it's pretty obvious by the fact that after the meeting was all, hey, can you go please? Sorry, there's a dog right here. Can you go please? I've given you enough pets. I'm sorry. Alright, I've pet you enough. Can you go please? Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, it was after I got the Aldecaldo Bolero jumper. One of the Badlands of the not one of, there's only one. The Badlands Trailer Park vendor added a legendary pants that goes absolutely perfect with the Bolero. I'm gonna call it Bolero until I know what it is. Um so yeah, they added pants that are absolutely perfect for the Bolero outfit that you get at the end of the game by siding with the Aldecados or calling the Aldecados for help or calling Pan Am for help. That would make it easier because Aldecados is a weird word for me to say. Um. So yeah, next it says cat food needed to adopt nibbles can now be bought at several food shops around Night City. This was a thing I didn't know if it was there already before, but thanks to this update, now I know. So, yeah, it says here, some of these ones I'm kind of questioning why this would be a problem in the first place. V should now automatically unequip a charged grenade when entering safe areas. Why was that ever a problem? Has someone seriously had a problem with that? I don't get it. Let me see. Some of these are actually pretty beneficial for me, well, not me personally. I'm not the only one. What I like here it says Jackie should no longer use stealth chatter just before combat in the heist. Let's see what else. Pan Am now occupies a different sniping spot during the fight with the Raffins in Ghost Town. I wish I had known that sooner when I tried to look for her. During, I think, my male playthrough, I was wondering where she was. Turns out she's somewhere else. Let's see here. Fishing issue with Pan Am's car could get launched into the air, and with a little help from my friends. Now, I did talk about this, and I think was it my final Cyberpunk video or labeled that, even though it wasn't. So I need to retitle that. I mentioned something like that where the what is it called? The War Beast, I think that's probably no. I can't I think the War Beast is no, it's just the Beast. Whatever it is, Pan Am's vehicle would get like stuck in would get stuck in another vehicle, which means you can't enter. There would be like 400 meters in the air, 400 meters below the ground and whatnot. It would just be all over the place. Now this one wasn't specific as to where. Let me see. It just says fixing issue with Pan Am's car could get launched into the air, and with a little help from my friends. Now I did have a problem after she wakes you up. Ugh, that was gross. Now I did have a problem where it was launched, or it was launched somewhere else after after she woke you up on like the second half after the campfire scene in that quest, or that job, but I doubt that's what they're talking about here. And another thing is it says that Pan Am picks a different sniping position. I don't know if that's ever been a problem. I don't know how that's become a problem. Unless maybe like you're going guns blazing and you accidentally shoot Pan Am, but I doubt that becomes a problem because most people don't go in guns blazing. The penthouse from Path of Glory can no longer be accessed. That was never really been a problem of mine, but I did find that pretty interesting. Fix an issue where V could get stuck in Rogue's booth in Ghost Town. That is pretty funny. I just like that. I don't know why. Pan Am now probably says her final dialogue line in all along the watchtower. I had no idea. So, like I mentioned before, I already beat the game with a nomad character. So that was basically like the first time I had beaten the game in 1.2. And I had no idea what they meant. Kinda. there is a certain line where Pan Am says one thing, but then the titles or the subtitles show something else. So I thought that's what they meant until it wasn't until after I beat in the game and it's just V and Pan Am outside on the Basilisk. Um, and usually what would have happened, if you guys remember or if you don't know, um, what usually happened was V out of nowhere would just tell her how like perfect, all great Pan Am, we're going home. But what I noticed was after that, um, or before my character said that, Pan Am said well. So I was like, is that what they were talking about? Because if so, that is pretty awesome. That they added in like they added something new into there um, that I didn't realize was a part of it, and it never really, and it made sense now because to be honest, whenever it never really bothered me where like out of nowhere V would just say like we're going home, you know, but then after they added that little part, I was like makes sense now. Most of the stuff is gonna be Pan Am stuff, I realized, because um there's a lot of it here, and I've noticed like some of these, and I mostly pay attention to Pan Am more because I always get excited when I do her stuff because her stuff is so much fun. Whether I'm romancing her or not, it's just fun anyways. Facing now some of these I know, like a lot of these were never an issue of mine. Facing an issue at meeting with Pan Am while on a holo call with her in Ghost Town could block progression. That one I never really noticed. The only problem I've had with calling her on Ghost Town was every time I would call her, the no matter how long I waited, the biochip would kick in, and then like your character starts like coughing and starts hacking and suffering for like the few seconds that it happens. Every time I called up Pan Am, delaying it a bit whenever Pan Am would actually say hello, she would pick up, and then V would just start having a freaking heart attack or whatever. And then after that was done, Pan Am just says hello. So that part really bothered me just because I hate calling her already because she gets a bit bitchy, but because that's the point. She got fucked over. But it just seemed unnecessary every time to just go through that. Like 4 or 5 characters in a row that's happened to them. Um, so yeah, so there was that. It's no longer possible to leave the quest area inside the basilisk. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know how far you could go until, but I guess not. Fixed an issue where it was not possible to interact with Pan Am if player used fast travel during the last scene of Queen of the Highway. Um, not sure what that meant. Again, some of these I have no clue what they mean. I just find them funny. Bob and Mitch will no longer clip through the flatbed while entering it, and with a little help from my friends. A lot of these I didn't. I think almost all of these I didn't come across, so that's why. Let's see. Let's see what else. There isn't really that much on there. It is no longer possible to use guns near the arcade during the Raymond Chandler evening fist fight, and it says here you can no longer pull an Indiana Jones in El Coyote Cojo. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know if that's a reference to Indiana Jones. If it is, I don't. Then I wouldn't know because I don't watch Indiana Jones. It's let's see. I barely do. A lot of these are also like the Chip or like the Johnny Silverhand line of quest lines. So like Carrie romancing or just like rogue stuff as a whole. So some of these stuff I don't know. It's no longer possible to get stuck in the water of the power plant after leaving the area in lightning breaks. Automatic loves progress will no longer get blocked by an invisible wall in Judy's workshop. What? That was a thing? Holy shit. Jackie will no longer get stuck in all foods if you sneak past the boss fight with Royce. That one I have come across once. And from that point on, I never really did, I never really snuck past Royce. But now looking over, I might have to next time. Let's see. Fix an issue where it was impossible to take an elevator to Embers in the Nocturne OP 55 and 1. Now, a lot of these are also involving epistrophe. The only problem I came across with this new, along with this new update, was the fact that I did have a Nomad character started with this new update. And I did epistrophe because I'm gonna get shit for this. I really love the Hela vehicle, or the Hela or whatever. It's V's like main vehicle that you get throughout the first act. I really, really love that vehicle. So I decided to do that one. I decided to do like all of the epistrophe stuff, all of the Delamain stuff, and what I noticed was that I did the last card up in I think it's either Badlands or Santo Domingo. More likely, it probably was Badlands. And I noticed that the Delamain would always interfere with all of the conversations I had. It's the one where like it's glitched and then like splits off into different paths and then just comes back. More likely, I think that's in the Badlands, because Santo Domingo is something different. So yeah, and I noticed that with that Delamain, it always intervened with all of my calls. It would cut Judy up the way it did the usual calls. Wakako. It mostly affected Wakako and Judy. I didn't really notice some of the other fixers. Wakako's body would stay there, but then it would just come back from the side as if it had left somewhere. So I didn't know that. So that was a problem. So I might have to wait a bit on that one to do that one. Now we move on to apparently the Judy stuff, because here we are. Michael now correctly dies when pushed down from Mega Building H8 in Pisces. I didn't no idea what they mean. Judy no longer follows the player around the world if they left the quest area before entering the Braindance studio in Disaster Piece, which is a Slipknot reference. I love mentioning that because it gives me satisfaction in knowing that there's a Slipknot and a Led Zeppelin reference. So yeah. Fix an issue where V could get stuck in one of the dollhouse's booths during automatic love. Fun fact, you don't need to use the dollhouse. You don't need to use the booths at all. You can easily get to Woodman without needing any of the dolls or Tom. Yeah. Fix an issue where Pan Am's quest related dialogue options could be missing before getting into the Basilisk. Again, I didn't come across it at the very least I don't remember. I might have, but yeah, with this I also figured I might I thought about doing all of the Beast Inside Me jobs. The problem with that is I'm not a big fan of street racing, although I heard you get amazing vehicles in there. So yeah, added a physical reward from Regina for defeating all Cyber Psychos that can be found in her office. I never really did all the Cyber Psycho stuff. I think I got up to like 5, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. fixed an issue in the space in between where conversation with fingers would not start if V sneaked into his office through the window. Now, I don't sneak into his office, but I will say I recently, because what I used to do is with the whole, what is it, is it this, yeah, within the space in between job, I would always like punch him, but not actually. I would activate like the punch thing whenever he sat down, and then I learned that it doesn't matter. You don't have to make physical contact with him. The second you start the punch sequence, it just happens anyway. So I did start talking with him, and that is by far the greatest thing I have ever seen ever. Just the fact as a whole that Judy slaps Mr. Fingers is absolutely amazing. Fits an issue that could block progression if the player took Panam's Overwatch rifle and disassembled it before she offered it to V in Riders of the Storm. Why would you do that straight away? Just imagine you offer someone a gun and then they break it down in front of you. Yeah. Speaking, so I'm going through all of this stuff. And a lot of it is Riders on the Storm. Such as fix an issue that could block the drive to the race camp if the player abandoned the quest. Midway through in Riders on the Storm, fixed a bunch of these Riders on the Storm stuff. One of the things I learned that I absolutely hate is the fact that it is now a lot more difficult to get to Saul in the job Riders on the Storm because of the fact that they added like a little fenced up area on top of the door, because like there would be like a little door you could go to, and then you can jump over that, and you can jump over the other one, and then boom, you've infiltrated. But they added it on top of the other door, so the only way you could easily manage to not get caught or risk not getting caught a lot easier is if you have a technical ability of 9 to sneak your way through, which makes this thing a lot more harder. Granted, I am used to doing it, so I don't go up. Don't go up there, please. That is not covered. Give me a moment. Alright, sorry about that. There was there's a couch over here that's not doggy proof, meaning like won't get hair on there. Or we don't want the dog hair getting on this couch, so we doggy proof it. But I took off the thing for myself, so I had to put a pillow over it. So yeah, I did do a lot of these. I did try some of these Beat on the Brat stuff, and I never really noticed a difference. I'm trying to see what else. In violent. There was one I saw that was absolutely confusing. It was let me see if I can find it. It was something about like fixed problems in sex scenes, which confused the shit out of me. Because just I'm trying to fix multiple issues during sex scenes. Now here's the thing. I have only done Pan Ams because just because it was available at the time. Sorry, I blanked out for a moment, so sorry for that like 10-second or so problem. Now I am currently doing a female character, and there wasn't really much of a problem I had with Judy's romance scene, aside from the fact that your character wears underwear, but she's butt naked throughout the whole scene. But I guess that's for the right reason of the fact that your genitals can change, but still, I just find it a bit weird on how you're sleeping with someone, they're butt naked, and yet you're down to your underwear. For the first half, I can't remember during the second half of it, but I did notice there was one thing that always bothered me about after Panam's scene, which is that she has her clothes on, like after it's interrupted or whatever. There's a certain point where she has her clothes on, but yet yours were off. So I do like the fact that they now made it to where your clothes are on, but with that, I thought it would be a thing because there's always a similar problem with that if you do call up if you do ask Pan Am for help, where if you do go access the net through Dakota after you woke up from the net, you would be butt naked. And I thought that since that's what they fixed for Pan Am's sex scene, I figured that's what they would change for that. No, in fact, it's still the same. Now, I do wish that at the very least they would make it somewhat accessible to do, because it's I don't know if you guys also experience this too, but like whenever, after you leave the net or after you do the heist, any clothes you're wearing would just become automatically unavailable, which means if you're wearing like the basic, if you wore like the basic stuff that at the beginning of Act 1, if you wore those clothing throughout the entirety of the game, meaning the shirt you get, the pants you get, and the shoes you get at the start of whatever it is, I can't, the gig or whatever, or the rescue, if you wear the clothes you get during the rescue throughout the entirety of Act 1, moving on to Act 2, whenever you wake up at the shower, those clothes no longer become available until like a couple of minutes or so. So and that's the same thing that happens after you leave the net with Dakota. So I thought that's what that would change. No, it doesn't. So yeah. So whatever. A lot of these stuff is just gigs and whatnot. I don't do a whole lot of gigs. Or I don't do a whole lot enough to notice it. Let's see. I'm trying to. Player will no longer have a weapon. This one I found funny. Player will no longer have a weapon equipped during the romance scene with Judy in Pyramid Song. Does that mean like during that whole scene there's a gun in your hand? Because if that's the case, I hate the fact that they took that out. I want to see that. There's also a lot of issues I found. Micah will no longer walk through the couch in Pisces. Some of these are actually pretty funny. But so I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, so as I was doing Pan Am's ending, I realized that there was like her like what's it called? Her Overwatch was like stuck to her at all times. Like it was always in her hand, and there was a part there was a part of the time that I was when I was doing Pan Am's or doing the ending, Pan Am's ending, where she was holding her pistol was on her hand, but she was holding it like a rifle, so it was just like this, like a pistol right here in her hand was just out like that. It was the funniest shit I have seen. Fixed an issue with Pan Am was not holding whiskey bottle correctly while raising a toast in Riders on the Storm. Some of these I didn't really notice. And this kind of brings up the question, like, does it really is it really that big of a deal? Like who's over here like, oh, she's not holding the bottle correctly. This game is literally unplayable. Like, come on. I guess I get it, but it just makes no sense, you know? and like some of these were like fix Jackie's hand on the bike, or Jackie's hands are now properly placed on the location of the bike during this. I'm like, why the hell does it matter? Um, and what I'm hoping with and I might not get to it anytime soon for a while. Because I mentioned like fix the thing with sex scenes, and I mentioned like on how after the whole romance scene with Pan Am will always have clothes on, but V wouldn't, especially when she has her clothes on. I wonder if that's gonna be the same way with Carrie, because after you romance Carrie and you're like butt naked, I had to put clothes on, so I'm hoping that they fix that also. More likely, it probably will. V will no longer get stuck in a sitting position after connecting to Pan Am's car in life during wartime. Now, the only time I can think of that happening, and I've witnessed this again, it may be different, whatever, but what I noticed was like after you reach the what is it? After you reach Jackson Plains and you have to go up and like put everything on overdrive or whatever and crank it up to 11. After you shoot off the guards and you and Pan Am bust through the thing, after you get out, after I got out, I was still sitting, but I was walking like I was sitting, and I just thought it was funny. Um, so yeah, I hope that's what they mean, because even though it happened to me once, I just still think it would be funny as I still thought it was funny as hell. More likely though, that's what it means. Let's. I'm just gonna go through all these. Fix the misspelled Leaving Night City sign. That is one thing I never noticed at all. I never really noticed of the fact that Night City was spelled wrong. Although, granted, I don't know if it was like during the Nomad playthrough or if it was just seen everywhere. But I never really noticed it because I'm just more focused on getting from point A to point B as opposed to looking around and seeing how shit works. Fixed multiple NPCs T-posing. Fixed several issues with missing lip sync. This one a lot of people found pretty funny. Jackie no longer shouts "nice shot" when V kills enemies while in stealth mode. That's never happened to me, but I can already imagine it, and it is the funniest shit ever. NPC shouting. Fixed NPC shouting after being shot or after being killed. Just imagine they die and you just hear, "No, I'm dead," or some shit. I don't know. Fixed a level of detail issue occurring for Joy Toys in Jig Jig Street. Now, I have done both Joy Toys in Jig Jig Street for both genders, and all of them, the only one I can think of is the fact that you don't have a head. Now that may be because of the fact that like your head's customizable, but your head shows up at the end of the game anyways. So I doubt that's why. Again, kind of like the whole thing with like my issue with Judy and not having, or during the whole scene with Judy and you having your underpants on during the scene, probably because of the fact that your genitalia can be different, but this is different because genitalia does not show up at the end of the game while your character's face does. So I think that was an issue. Added a crafted icon to the tooltip of crafted items. The only problem with the crafted icon is unlike, well, it's that it no longer decreases the crafting thing by 5%. I noticed before, whenever I was crafting ammunition for my pistol, because I play a lot of pistol characters, Usually around level 2 or level 3 of crafting, um, the the ingredients or items used to make legendary ammo would go from 10 to 9, but in this it stays 10 throughout the whole thing, which means I have to add an additional perk to the double, or to that one technical ability brand. I forgot what it's called, where you get double the amount of components whenever you break down something. So I have to add that, which really helps out in the long run. Mostly because of the fact that if you break down a legendary item, you get both legendary components. So that really helps, which means I can now go down, or not go down. I can easily upgrade my overture I used from, or for my nomad character or pistol character that you get in Northside. There was one here I found to be weird. Misty now walks correctly down the stairs on the way to El Coyote Cojo during in Hero, or bar in Heroes. I don't know where I said during. So yeah, console specific stuff. Fixed an issue on PlayStation 4 where items couldn't be dropped from the backpack as they would always reappear back in the inventory. Fixed an issue that caused the game to zoom in when pressing pause on PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One. The only problem I had with zooming in was every time I left a bike, it would always zoom in. I don't know if that's still a problem. I can't remember if that's still a problem. More likely, it probably isn't. But I think that's what they were talking about. So yeah, really, really good updates. It didn't fix it completely, but it really helped out a lot. Fixed a lot, but also just fucked up a lot of stuff. So, but like every game, it is not perfect. And it will get there eventually. Now, I did want to say, CDPR did say that they did want to make Cyberpunk better for everyone, so it sells on the long run. That one seems like, or for that it'll sell for years to come. That one's a bit of a tough one to do because you have to appeal to everyone, and even then, everyone is different. Like if you wanted to appeal to everyone, so it fits in for everyone that aren't criminals. Like if you want to appeal to perverts, you're going to need a lot more sex scenes for that one. But the problem is, some perverts may think that they have too much of it. But some people, it may be like it's too much sex scenes. So now, what about the people who don't want sex scenes? Well, then you're going to have to limit it down. But then perverts over here well, I want more of that. So it seems like a bit of a stretch. But what I'm getting at is it's pretty hard to manage something like that. So yeah, that I'm keeping that in. I am not editing that. I am keeping that in. So yeah, and a lot of people are talking about DLC for the game and multiplayer. I don't really think they need to. I don't think they should have DLC yet. I think they need to start working on the game itself before adding more onto it. But that's just my personal opinion. I understand some people are gonna hate that opinion because a lot of people are desperate for DLCs for some reason, but that's just how I am. I personally believe that they need to start working more on the game before they add more onto it. So yeah, that was the 1.2. Not all of it, because even if I was going to, my phone's about to die, so there's no way in hell I could go through all that. But yeah, so those are some of the major ones that I've noticed, enjoyed. A lot of these ones were Pan Am's ones because it's an addiction at this point. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification if you do subscribe, if you want to be notified for when I upload, because I don't upload a whole lot. So yeah, and leave a comment down below. I don't know, something. Let me know your thoughts on what you thought of the update. Actually, do you think it was going somewhere? Do you think it did nothing, or do you think that it should have been more, less? what some reason less. I don't know why you would want less, but whatever. Everyone's different. And let me know what with DLC stuff. I always had a question of with the romanceable options, who should the DLC be around? If they decided like, hey, we want to make a DLC around the four or five, if you consider Meredith, of one of the romanceable options, who would you pick? Even though all of them are pretty set up, clear or whatnot. I don't know. Maybe River has like an unfinished business, or maybe you find like a brain dance of Panam's back life of how horrible her life has been with Nash and whatnot, or just whatever, you know. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys because, I respond to all comments because I'm not that popular on YouTube, so therefore I'm available like 24/7. So yeah. Loser Manic out.